What's up everyone? I just felt like making this video for a very specific reason. I'm currently mastering the track of the band Darien Geep that you can find the links to in the description again. And in the process of doing that, I'm using multiple instances of Soothe. In my opinion, Soothe is always a plugin that you are not instantiating at the beginning of a project because it is made for resonance suppression, and unless you're using it creatively but more traditionally in the mixing context, you are not using it at the beginning of a project, but first you try to slap all the other stuff on your things. Like you could maybe think, oh, a track needs saturation, and then somewhere at the end of your mixing you might be feeling like, okay, maybe I can squeeze out a little bit more from this mix by resonance suppressing certain resonances, just to get back some of the headroom so that you can push the distortion even harder. That's at least the way I feel about that, but I don't want to go too much in depth about how I use this plugin in this video. I just wanted to say you that because I have been owning this plugin for a long time now and never made a really good video about it. And you might be wondering why, especially in regard to the things that I will tell you now about how I even got this plugin. So that makes it even more questionable why I never made a video. And yeah, that's the reason. First of all, because it's always at the end of a project, and my last computer was just not capable of still streaming, making a good screen capture when the project was already pretty far in. But now I made a new computer with more power, so that should be possible now. So that's one of the reasons. And another reason for that is that my screen captures currently don't have the best sound quality. You probably have noticed that already in all of my videos, but sometimes it just sounds a little bit fiddly in the high end, especially. You can sometimes hear some kind of stuff, and I just don't know why. I still have to solve that, and it would make no point to make a mastering video or something where precision is really important, like a video about Soothe, and then have this kind of weird sound in the high end. You can do that with creative sound design videos because it's no point being pedantic about these kind of things then. But when you're making a mastering video, then it would be a little bit weird. So that's also one of the reasons why I never made a video about Soothe. It would just not do Soothe justice. And the most important video will be discussed in this video actually. It is a video about content creators, about monetization, about sponsorship, and about being objectiveness in video reviews. The story is the following. I was a Soothe 1 user. I had Soothe 1. I bought it because I watched a video from White Sea Studio in which he used it and was very passionate about it. And the funny thing is, in the meantime, he changed his mind and now he's kind of against spectral editing features in plugins, want to go more analog and stuff like that, but I'm still very hyped about all these kind of things. Yeah, so I bought the plugin and I was really happy with it. It was one of my favorite plugins at that time. Now I'm seeing that more neutral again, but you know how hyped you can be when you have a new toy to play with. It changed my entire mind about mixing in general, because I never perceived a dynamic EQ as something that I would slap on everything. But Soothe 2 is basically like having millions of little dynamic equalizers that automatically adjust themselves to the sound, and that just changed my complete opinion about this tool. So it was a game changer to me because it changed the way that I'm thinking, not just the way that my workflow works, and just in general the way that I perceived music. After Soothe was dropped and after I used Soothe myself for a while, I always listened to music trying to hear where people used an instance of Soothe, because Soothe has a certain sound character to it, and you can sometimes hear it when it was used very hard in track. Even some metal tracks where you can really hear, okay, these guitars have been flattened so hard, and it's kind of a nice feeling to just detect these instances of Soothe in some other people's music. I always feel pretty cool about that. And yeah, that's my story, and that was totally objective until this point. So I was super passionate about everything, and I went on Facebook, and whenever someone had an opinion or a topic about something about resonance suppression or stuff like that, I was in the comments and talking about Soothe because it was such a cool thing to do, and I just loved it. There is also some other thing that I did, which is I was talking to Oeksound themselves, and I told them, yeah, you know what would be pretty cool? It would be pretty cool if you added a sidechain feature. And I made a little private video for them where I showcased how cool it would be to have a sidechain feature in Soothe, where the plugin reacts to the resonances of another track to poke down the track that the plugin is on, to kind of get this effect like things are really going into each other, so to say. Does that make sense? It didn't seem to make sense to Oeksound at that point, because they just told me, oh, we cannot do that. And I felt like they don't like me because I'm not a pro mixing engineer, but just a little beat maker with weird ideas. I was disappointed, but I still liked Soothe for what it is, and I kept on using it, and it was pretty cool. And yeah, at some point they dropped Soothe too. And I was a bit sad at that moment because I didn't have enough money for the upgrade. The plugin is expensive and the upgrade is also expensive. And it was already expensive enough to buy Soothe 1. So I just felt like, okay, let's maybe stick to Soothe 1. It's cool that they have added some new features like the attack and the release knob, and also the sidechain feature I was explicitly asking for, which I felt very cool about that they added it. And yeah, some other stuff as well. But yeah, no money, so I couldn't do that. So I was just happy about Soothe 1, and that was the thing. But then one day, I actually got a message from Oeksound, and they thanked me for always advertising for their plugin on Facebook and different social media groups on Facebook, and also for making this feature request, and also sometimes for the bug fixes that I gave them. No, not bug fixes, but bug reports. Of course, they do the fixes. So I did all the things that I can do for a developer, and that's why they were grateful and gave me the plugin for free, or the upgrade to Soothe 2. And yeah, they told me I should not tell anyone about that actually, but now I did, and that is for a specific reason, which is that I wouldn't feel good about, showcasing this plugin to people without explicitly stating that I got it for free. I do believe wholeheartedly that I deserved getting this for free while other people have to pay for it, for a specific reason that I want to get into next. But still, I can understand when some people are a bit confused about that, or maybe even angry because they might not think the same way as I do. So that's also one of the reasons why I want to make this video, because I want to, prevent misunderstandings. And one of the things that people always seem to misunderstand about content creators is that content creators spend a lot of time creating content, and that this time could also be spent making money in a traditional way by working for someone and then getting money. And it's not that content creation gets a lot of money in. In most cases, it doesn't get any money in. For example, my channel, I don't get monetized by YouTube because I don't have enough views per month. And I do have enough subscribers though, but I also don't make shorts. And now they added their requirements that someone has to make shorts in order to get monetized. And I just have no good ideas for shorts. My videos are just long. I just make quality content. No, but really, some channels are just not for monetization. So that doesn't work. So it would be cool if content creators at least get some products for free. And the developers benefit from that anyway, because the developer can make a video about their plugin, but is it objective? You know, it's much more objective when a content creator makes the video, but if the content creators don't have enough money to get the plugins, then no one makes a good video. And that's why I think content creators should at least get plugins way cheaper than the general public, who just uses the plugins without recommending them to many people across the world all the time. That's why content creators, in my opinion, deserve to get things a little bit easier, more accessible. Maybe not always for free, but at least cheaper, you know? And, but for free is cool too, of course. I really like that. Someone like White Sea Studios always says in his videos that he's against getting things for free. He just wants to be totally objective. But maybe he's in a different situation than me because he also has a mastering studio, so he makes a lot of money doing that. So he can actually just do his YouTube stuff for fun completely and has enough money anyway. You know, I sometimes get donations from you guys, which is awesome. Please go on with that. But it's not enough to feed a family. So when I get things for free, I actually just genuinely believe that I deserve it. And yeah, and I hope that I'm still objective enough to showcase them. And I think Soothe-Story is a great example of that, because I got it for free a long time ago, and I could have, of course, you know, made some video about it. I could have solved some of the problems, like the CPU thing. I could have just not used a full project to showcase Soothe, but just a single track. And then I would have had enough CPU even on my last computer to showcase it. But I just didn't feel that would be right, because it's the wrong context. It's not the context people actually use Soothe in. And it would not have lived up to how Soothe should be used, in my opinion. So even for that reason alone, I just didn't make a video. And it's not the only plugin that I got for free that I never even made a video about. I actually got a lot of plugins for free that I still want to make videos about, just because I'm grateful for getting them for free. But I never did it because the situation was not right yet. And that's, I think, also what makes me objective, because I'm not just forcing advertising for things just because I can, or just because I got stuff for free or something like that, but I really make videos when I want to make videos and not any time else. Sometimes people ask me if I can make a video actually, and then I might do it if I like the idea, but really only if I like the idea, you know? So even if you get things for free, it doesn't mean that you are suddenly not objective anymore. I showcase things when I like things. Sometimes also people might argue, okay, but then you could also showcase a cheaper plugin than Soothe-Story, because there are some alternatives that are cheaper. Yeah, but I also have some objective arguments against that. I like the other plugins as well, but some of them maybe have pre-ringing or something like that, which can get a little bit nasty on certain input signals. And Soothe-Story, it is just super well engineered. Like, everything in this plugin just feels so perfect. All of the parameters are made in a way that using them just feels right. You know, that's some of the things that a lot of developers get wrong in their plugins, and that's also why what makes the difference to the big developers in some cases. You know, sometimes not, but in this case definitely. Like these guys, they really deserved making their plugin the most expensive one. And I'm saying that even though I got it for free. The reason why I said it, I can discuss that in a different video, in a video in which I actually talk about the features of Soothe. But I can actually already spoil you that there are a lot of actual reasons for that. And you will probably see it the same way when I tell you about them, if you don't know the reasons already yourself. And if not, then you can still just disagree with me. So that's, that's just on you. Of course, as a content creator, you also have the responsibility to not just, sugarcoat about things, because some people really have no own opinion and just believe whatever someone on the internet is saying. But I don't think people who watch my channel are like that. I mean, I'm someone who is sitting in front of a living room with children's toys on the floor and not in a expensive recording studio with analog gear all around me that is blinking nicely and stuff like that. So people who watch my channel already know that I don't pretend to be the king of music production. I'm just someone who likes to make music and to make plugins and to review plugins. I like all of these things, and that's why I'm here. And yeah, and that makes me objective in my way. People can see that differently and have their own approaches to this topic, but this is just my approach to it. And now, going back to my statement that Oeksound didn't want me to, or did I actually mention it? Oeksound didn't want me to tell people that I got this for free. And I think, I'm not actually sure, but I think their reason for telling me that was that they didn't want people to, just come to them and say, oh, can I also get it for free? Please, 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 all the time. They want to be the ones who give it to people and not people asking for it. I think that's a pretty valid thing to think for their position, because it's their product and they can do whatever they want with it, and they can decide who gets things for free and who doesn't. But I just had to break my promise in this case, and if anyone from Oeksound is watching this video, then I'm sorry about that. But I had to do that, and because I could not make a video about Soothe otherwise. I want to make videos about Soothe sometime, and that's why I had to be more transparent now, So it's really important, and I hope that you forgive me, and I hope that you still like my reasoning about that, If not, then sorry, but it just had to be. Now I cannot promise to make a Soothe 2 video very soon, but because of the reason that I mentioned in the beginning, that the sound quality of my screen captures kinda sucks. But I try to solve that, and maybe I will find a different reason to make a Soothe video anyway. It's just that Soothe always is so subtle, and when the screen capture sucks, then I don't know. But I will try to find a way. And now I'm closer to finding a way. And because of that, I wanted to make this video, so that I can, wholeheartedly make a nice video about Soothe. And I would also like to use this opportunity to spark a discussion in the comments if anyone feels like it. What is your opinion on objectivity of content creators, on donations and monetization, and the influence on the objectivity and on fairness of different privileges of people in these kind of things? I want to know everything that you think. Also, especially if you disagree with any of my points, because I also want to improve my point. It's not that this is set in stone. That's just my point of view right now, and I always like to expand my perspective on these kind of things. Now I have the content creator perspective, but my goal is always to have the all-around perspective, where I consider all of the people. Just to give you a little example, people who live in some really low-income countries where you can barely afford food, I don't think they should pay plugins at all. They should get everything for free. So I'm actually not just sitting in my little content creator tower where I grab people's plugins for free and then just claim that I'm objective. No, I do acknowledge that different life situations might also lead to similar conclusions. But this is just my conclusion for myself, and I think it's a good starting point for a discussion.